The explosive showdown at Five Poppies Resort, Dex's shocking return to save Joss. In the most anticipated storyline twist of the year, General Hospital fans are about to witness a heart-pounding sequence of events at the luxurious Five Poppies Resort that will forever change the lives of beloved characters, Jocelyn Jax and her WSB handler Vaughn. What begins as a covert intelligence mission quickly spirals into a deadly game of cat and mouse, culminating in the impossible return of a character everyone believed was gone forever. The mission goes sideways. The pristine facade of the Five Poppies Resort masks a web of international intrigue as Joss and Vaughn arrive under the guise of vacationing guests. Their real mission: locate and extract Dr. Britt Westburn, who has been held captive by mysterious forces for weeks. The resort's cutting-edge spa treatments and private sand beach provide perfect cover for their operation, but their enemies have been watching every move. As Joss and Vaughn conduct their reconnaissance, subtle signs begin emerging that their cover has been blown. Hotel staff members exchange knowing glances, and certain guests seem to appear wherever the duo goes. The concierge Pascal, who had been so helpful upon their arrival, suddenly becomes evasive when asked simple questions about resort amenities. What Joss and Vaughn don't realize is that their every conversation has been monitored, their rooms searched, and their true identities discovered by the very organization holding Britt captive. The carefully orchestrated mission begins to unravel when Vaughn notices surveillance equipment hidden in their suite. His WSB training kicks in as he signals Joss using predetermined hand gestures they learned during their preparation. The realization hits them both simultaneously. They're not hunters in this scenario, they're the hunted. The trap is sprung. Late one evening, as tropical storms rage outside the resort, Joss and Vaughn make their move toward the secluded wing, where intelligence suggests Britt is being held. The resort's normally bustling atmosphere has turned eerily quiet, with most guests having retreated to their rooms to weather the storm. It's the perfect cover for their extraction attempt, or so they believe, as they navigate the dimly lit corridors, using service elevators and maintenance passages Vaughn had mapped during his earlier reconnaissance. They remain unaware that their every step is being tracked. The enemy has allowed them to penetrate this far into the resort's restricted areas for one simple reason: to eliminate both WSB agents in a location where their deaths can be easily explained as tragic accidents during the storm. The ambush comes swift and brutal. As Joss and Vaughn finally locate the room where Britt is supposedly being held, armed figures emerge from concealed positions throughout the corridor. Automatic weapons appear, and the narrow hallway becomes a deadly funnel with no escape routes. The couple finds themselves outnumbered and outgunned, pressed against the wall as their adversaries close in. Vaughn, drawing on his training, manages to push Joss behind a heavy decorative pillar just as the shooting begins. The resort's elegant marble surfaces chip and crack under the assault of bullets, while the two agents return fire with their standard issue sidearms clearly insufficient against the firepower arrayed against them. When all hope seems lost, the situation grows increasingly desperate as their ammunition runs low, and their enemies advance methodically down the corridor. Vaughn takes a bullet to the shoulder, and Joss realizes they have perhaps minutes before being overrun. The sound of approaching reinforcements echoes from both ends of the hallway, effectively trapping them in their makeshift cover. Just as the situation reaches its most dire point, when capture or death seems inevitable, the impossible happens. A figure emerges from what appears to be solid wall, a hidden passage that none of the combatants had noticed. Moving with lethal precision and armed with military-grade weapons, this mysterious savior begins systematically neutralizing the attackers. In the chaos of smoke and gunfire, Joss catches a glimpse of the rescuer's face, and her world tilts on its axis. The strong jawline, the determined eyes, the way he moves through combat situations, it's unmistakably Dex Heller, the man she watched die in a hospital bed just weeks earlier. The impossible rescue. Dex's tactical expertise becomes immediately apparent as he coordinates their escape with military precision. Having studied the resort's layout extensively before his arrival, he guides Joss and the wounded Vaughn through a series of hidden passages and service tunnels that most guests never know exist. His timing is flawless, appearing at exactly the moment when their situation had become hopeless. The journey to safety is harrowing, with enemy reinforcements scouring the resort and sealing off traditional escape routes. Dex leads them through the resort's underbelly, past industrial kitchens, through laundry facilities, and along maintenance corridors that eventually connect to the resort's private beach access tunnels. As they emerge onto the moonlit beach, a speedboat waits in the surf, its engine running. Dex helps the injured Vaughn aboard while Joss struggles to process the reality of seeing the man she grieved for standing before her, very much alive. The boat speeds away from Five Poppies Resort just as security forces flood the beach area, their searchlights cutting through the tropical darkness. The truth revealed. Once they reach a safe house on a nearby island, Dex finally has the opportunity to explain his miraculous survival to a stunned Joss. The story he tells is one of careful planning, advanced medical deception, and recruitment by a shadowy organization that operates in the gray areas between legitimate intelligence agencies. Dex reveals that his death was an elaborate ruse orchestrated by a covert organization that had been monitoring his activities and recognized his potential. As he lay dying from his stab wounds, representatives of this group approached him with an offer: fake his death and join their ranks, or actually die from his injuries. The choice was simple, even if it meant allowing everyone he loved, including Joss, to believe he was gone forever. The organization, whose name Dex cannot reveal for security reasons, specializes in operations too sensitive or controversial for traditional intelligence agencies to handle. They exist in the shadows, recruiting individuals who have been declared dead, giving them new identities and purposes while allowing their former lives to remain buried. For weeks following his supposed death, Dex underwent intensive training and preparation for his first mission, infiltrating Five Poppies Resort to investigate the same organization that had captured Britt. His handlers had been tracking WSB movements and knew that Joss and Vaughn were walking into a trap. Dex's assignment was surveillance and intelligence gathering, but when he realized Joss's life was in danger, he abandoned his orders to save her. Emotional reckoning. The revelation creates a complex emotional landscape for Joss, who must grapple with relief at Dex's survival, anger at the deception, and confusion about their future relationship. Dex explains that his new life comes with restrictions, cannot simply return to Port Charles and resume his former existence. His death must remain convincing to maintain his cover and protect both his new mission and the people he left behind. As dawn breaks over their temporary sanctuary, Joss faces an impossible choice: return to her WSB training and the life she's been building since Dex's death, or find a way to navigate a relationship with someone who officially no longer exists. The mission that brought her to Five Poppies Resort has failed, but in losing one objective, she has regained something she thought was lost forever. The story promises to explore themes of sacrifice, second chances, and the complicated nature of love when duty and desire collide. As General Hospital continues to evolve this storyline, viewers can expect more revelations about Dex's mysterious new organization and how his return will impact not just Joss, but the entire web of relationships in Port Charles. Next, we will learn about the earth-shattering arrest of Joe Palmieri by Harrison Chase, and its ripple effects tearing through Port Charles like a wildfire. The instant Harrison Chase clamped those handcuffs around Joe Palmieri's wrists marked far more than a routine takedown. It unleashed a cascade of devastation, fracturing the very foundations of marriages, professional alliances, and deep-rooted family connections in ways that will forever alter the landscape of Port Charles. This week's jaw-dropping events have left viewers reeling, as what seemed like a straightforward police procedure exploded into a full-scale crisis of divided loyalties and shattered trusts. Chase, bound by his duty as a detective, executed the arrest on orders for Gio's alleged intrusion into Professor Hank Dalton's university lab, but in doing so, he ignited a powder keg that exposes the fragile balance between personal ties and professional obligations, inventing a fresh twist. Perhaps Chase hesitated for a split second, his hand trembling as memories of family barbecues flashed through his mind, only to steel himself with a deep breath, whispering an apology under his breath that Joe might never forgive. This moment underscores the impossible dilemmas faced by those in law enforcement within the tangled web of Port Charles, where every action echoes through generations, potentially leading to long-term feuds or unexpected reconciliations that reshape the town's power dynamics. Caught in an excruciating bind, Chase was forced to detain Joe, the young man revealed to be the biological offspring of his own wife, Brooklyn Quartermain, from a youthful romance with Dante Falconeri, who happens to be Chase's steadfast colleague at the Port Charles Police Department. The complexity escalates dramatically here, as the arrest transformed from a mere campus infraction into a high-profile criminal probe, with Joe nabbed in the act of infiltrating Dalton's lab at Port Charles University. To add layers of intrigue, this isn't just any academic facility. It's the epicenter of suspicion surrounding Dalton's shady experiments, which Emma Scorpio Drake has been relentlessly pursuing, believing he's conducting unethical animal trials hidden behind scholarly facades. Emma, with her sharp investigative instincts honed from her family's legacy of sleuthing, orchestrated the entire operation, roping in Joe under the guise of righteous activism, perhaps promising him adventure and justice in equal measure, creatively expanding. Imagine Emma sharing encrypted messages with Joe beforehand, detailing blueprints of the lab and escape routes, only for their plan to crumble under the weight of unforeseen security measures, leaving Joe exposed and vulnerable to Chase's inevitable intervention. The emotional stakes skyrocket when considering that Chase essentially prioritized his badge over safeguarding his wife's long-lost child, whom Brooklyn has been yearning to bond with ever since the bombshell revelation at the nurses' ball upended their lives. This choice isn't merely procedural. It's a heart-wrenching betrayal that could bury their budding plans for adoption, which were already paused as Brooklyn poured her energy into forging a relationship with Joe, dreaming of family outings and shared holidays. Now, those aspirations lie in ruins, replaced by resentment and what-ifs. As Brooklyn grapples with the agony of watching her husband haul away the son she's only just begun to know, adding inventive elements, perhaps Brooklyn uncovers a hidden journal from her teenage years, filled with entries about her pregnancy and hopes for Gio's future, which she clutches during tearful nights, fueling her determination to fight the charges through legal loopholes or private negotiations that pull in influential allies. Compounding the drama, Chase has turned to Willow Tate for solace amid this turmoil, spilling his conflicted thoughts to her rather than confiding in Brooklyn, a move that's raising eyebrows and whispering of an emerging romantic entanglement. Willow, having endured her own battles with separation from her children due to manipulative forces in Port Charles, offers a sympathetic ear, drawing parallels between their experiences that deepen their connection. Yet, seeking emotional refuge from another woman while his marriage teeters on the brink feels like a textbook setup for soap opera sparks, potentially igniting jealousy and confrontations that test loyalties across the board. Inventing new details. Envision Chase and Willow sharing late-night coffee sessions at a quiet diner, where he opens up about his fears of losing everything, and she responds with gentle advice drawn from her therapy sessions, subtly weaving in flirtatious undertones that neither acknowledges but both feel, setting the stage for a forbidden attraction to bloom. Shifting gears to an unforeseen powerhouse team-up, Gio's lineage as the grandson of notorious mob kingpin Sonny Corinthos, and the great-grandson of the formidable Tracy Quartermain, positions him at the heart of a brewing storm that could unite these unlikely forces against a common foe, with Dante and Brooklyn already huddled in strategy sessions to navigate the fallout. The real spectacle awaits as Sonny deploys his shadowy network of enforcers, and Tracy unleashes her arsenal of elite attorneys, creating a formidable alliance that Dalton never saw coming. This convergence of mob muscle and corporate cunning promises epic clashes, perhaps involving covert operations or high-stakes negotiations that blur the lines between legal and illicit tactics. Creatively adding, picture Sonny and Tracy sharing a tense meeting at a neutral spot like the Metro Court, trading barbs before agreeing on a joint plan that includes hacking into Dalton's records or pressuring university officials, all to secure Gio's freedom and expose deeper conspiracies. Michael Corinthos steps in with words of encouragement for Joe, leveraging his own experiences of being pulled between the Quartermain empire and Corinthos' crime world to offer guidance. But Joe, reeling from the nurse's ball truth bomb, and now this humiliating arrest by his mother's spouse, might spurn all assistance in a defiant stand. This rejection could manifest as Joe isolating himself, perhaps retreating to a hidden spot like the Quartermain boathouse to process his anger, refusing calls and visits that only heighten the family's desperation. Inventing elements. Joe might discover a family heirloom, a locket from Brooklyn's past that he uses as a talisman, symbolizing his internal struggle between embracing his heritage and forging an independent path, leading to pivotal scenes where he confronts each relative individually. At the core of this chaos lies the enigmatic Professor Dalton, whose secrets extend far beyond Emma's accusations of animal cruelty, rooted in her personal vendetta stemming from encounters back in California. Anna Devane, aware of the risky break-in scheme, attempted to intervene, but the plot thickens with the World Security Bureau's probe into Dalton's alleged development of revolutionary cold fusion tech, with the true prize hidden not in his local lab, but at a secluded Croatian resort named Five Poppies. This raises suspicions of a deliberate trap, where Gio's capture serves as a diversion for larger schemes, timed impeccably to mislead investigators, adding creative depth. Perhaps encrypted files leaked to Emma hint at international espionage, involving double agents and stolen prototypes, positioning Dalton as a pawn in a global game that could draw WSB operatives like Jagger Cates deeper into Port Charles affairs. The repercussions on professional fronts are poised to be catastrophic, with Chase and Dandy's one solid PCPD partnership, already tested post-Nurse's Ball and requiring Anna's mediation, now irreparably damaged by the arrest of Dandy's own son. Rebuilding from such a personal blow seems impossible, likely leading to reassigned duties or outright resignations that shake up the department structure. Meanwhile, Emma and Gio's budding camaraderie, forged in the fire of their shared mission against Dalton, hangs in the balance. Her zeal dragged him into felony territory, leaving him to face consequences while she presses on with her cause, potentially breeding resentment or, conversely, an unbreakable bond through adversity. Inventing further, imagine a charged jail visit where Joe accuses Emma of betrayal, only for her to reveal a hidden recording from the lab that could exonerate him, transforming their dynamic into a reluctant partnership against greater threats. Next, we will learn about the heartfelt turmoil engulfing Willow Corinthos and Harrison Chase, as their paths cross in a sea of heartbreak, sparking whispers of rekindled sparks in Port Charles. This week, the devoted followers of ABC General Hospital are riding an emotional roller coaster, deeply invested in the fragile bond forming between Willow Corinthos and Harrison Chase. Amid the wreckage of their personal lives, fresh from the devastating end of her relationship with Drew Quartermain, triggered by the shocking revelation of his steamy affair with Nina Reeves Sunval dramatically by Curtis Ashford, right on what should have been her joyous wedding day, Willow finds herself unmoored, desperately aching for reconnection with her precious children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos, whose absence feels like an open wound on a parallel track of sorrow. Chase is grappling with the cracks widening in his marriage to Brooklyn Quartermain, exacerbated by her unwavering determination to mend her fractured ties with Giovanni Joe Palmieri, the son she gave up long ago, which has effectively derailed their shared dreams of expanding their family through adoption. As these two souls, battered by betrayal and delay, lean on each other for solace, speculation swirls. Could this mutual vulnerability ignite a passionate romance? Or will the dark shadow of Willow's concealed involvement in the kidnapping of Daisy Corinthos Gilmore prove to be the unbreakable barrier that dooms any chance of happiness? Inventing a fresh layer, perhaps Willow stumbles upon an old photograph of her and Chase from happier times, during a quiet moment at the Quartermain mansion, stirring nostalgic whispers that pull them even closer, while Chase confides in her about hidden letters he's written to Brooklyn but never sent, revealing his unspoken fears of losing his marital bliss forever. The common thread of grief binding Willow and Chase has fans buzzing with intensity, as their interactions hint at a deepening closeness born from profound losses. Drew's cascade of deceptions decisively claiming Michael Corinthos had forsaken Wiley, secretly paying off a nurse at a German burn clinic to bar Willow from seeing Michael during his recovery, and even tampering with drug tests to paint Michael as an unreliable addict. Shattered Willow's illusions, leaving her not only single, but drowning in remorse over her impulsive choice to abduct Daisy. In a misguided bid for justice, Chase, in turn, navigates the turbulence of Brooklyn's preoccupation with Joe, which has postponed their adoption aspiration, forcing him to confront feelings of isolation and unfulfilled longing for fatherhood. Online forums are ablaze with debates among viewers, passionately arguing over the potential resurrection of the Chillo pairing, harkening back to their fleeting 2021 romance that burned bright but fizzled amid complications. Yet, lurking beneath this tender resurgence is Willow's burdensome secret, a ticking time bomb that could erode the fragile trust they're building. Envision late-night heart-to-hearts on the docks of Port Charles, where Willow tentatively shares snippets of her pain, and Chase responds with gentle reassurances, perhaps even inventing a scenario where they collaborate on a charity event for displaced families, symbolizing their shared hopes and inadvertently fanning the flames of old attraction style. The weight of her undisclosed guilt threatens to snuff out any budding fire before it truly ignites. In moments of unguarded vulnerability, Willow and Chase might find themselves teetering on the precipice of something profoundly intimate, but the specter of Willow's hidden misdeed looms large, poised to unravel everything if Chase's keen detective instincts sense her inner turmoil. Fans are voicing legitimate concerns that this secret about the Daisy kidnapping could be the catalyst for total destruction, especially since Chase, with his unyielding commitment to truth and justice, might start piecing together clues from her evasive glances or hesitant pauses. Recall how Michael subtly cautioned Chase that he lacked the full picture, a warning that could plant seeds of doubt, prompting Chase to probe deeper into what Willow isn't saying, with no guiding voices urging caution, perhaps due to the absence of mutual friends like Sasha Gilmore, who's entangled in her own drama. Chase risks veering off course, seeking refuge in Willow's empathetic embrace to heal the unintentional scars left by Brooklyn's divided attentions, creatively adding depth. Imagine a rainy evening where Chase drops by Willow's temporary residence with comfort food from Kelly's Diner, leading to an emotional outpouring where tears mix with laughter over shared memories. But a fleeting touch lingers too long, hinting at desires that could complicate their lives further if Willow's confession doesn't come soon. As General Hospital masterfully threads this narrative of solace between Willow and Chase, the overarching question hangs heavy. Will their empathetic connection forge a resilient romance, capable of withstanding the storms ahead, or will it crumble under the pressure of past patterns and concealed truths? Much like their previous encounters that always seemed to end in heartbreak, the looming revelation of Willow's secret casts a long shadow, threatening to fracture the trust they're tentatively rebuilding, and it's got segments of the fanbase in an uproar. At the mere suggestion of these two entangling romantically, we've already witnessed enough scandalous liaisons, from Drew and Willow's ill-fated involvement to Michael's impulsive night with Sasha Gilmore Corbin, amid alcohol-fueled regrets, leaving many viewers wary of more relational chaos. Yet, a vocal majority cherishes the genuine chemistry between Brooklyn and Chase, rooting for their union to weather this storm rather than seeing him drawn back into the whirlwind of Willow's current chaotic existence, which feels like a vortex of poor decisions and unresolved guilt, inventing new elements. Perhaps fan theories explode online with petitions for a redemption arc where Willow seeks therapy to address her actions, potentially involving Chase in group sessions that either solidify their bond or expose irreconcilable differences, while Brooklyn discovers a surprise pregnancy twist that forces Chase to choose between past flames and future commitments. In the end, as Port Charles simmers with these evolving dynamics, the emotional stakes for Willow and Chase promise more twists that could redefine love and loyalty in unexpected ways. What are your thoughts on a possible Chillo reunion, yay or nay? Drop your opinions in the comments. And make sure to hit subscribe for all the latest scoops from ABC General Hospital, where the drama never sleeps.